Hey guys, it's me again, back with another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. I thought today would be a good day to teach you guys how to use stitch fiddle and how to create and use grid patterns. Before we jump right into the tutorial, you know I gotta take care of the housekeeping. So please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and make sure that you turn your notification bell on because YouTube will not notify you when I post. So if you want to know when I post a new video, go ahead and click that bell. All of my social media pages and my website where I sell my designs and my patterns are in the description below. And let's just jump right into the tutorial. So I got my little notes. Look at me, took notes because I'm really going to teach you guys how to use stitch fiddle and how to make a grid pattern. Okay, so grid patterns look like this. You can use them with either crochet or knitting or quilting, I believe. I think you can use them with a number of different fiber arts. However, for today's video, we will be using them for crochet purposes. Grid patterns help you create images using whatever method of fiber art you'll be using. And there's a number of different ways that you can create grid patterns. I've heard of some people using like literal graph paper. There are also a number of websites online that you can use to create grid patterns. However, my favorite website to use is Stitch Fiddle. No, this video is not sponsored, but honestly, if you really want to know my honest opinion, it probably should be. But this video is not sponsored. Let Stitch Fiddle know that your girl has been promoting them over and over and over again. I don't know who's in charge of Stitch Fiddle. I don't know. But someone at Stitch Fiddle, holla at me. For today's video, I'll be using Stitch Fiddle, and that's what I'll be showing you guys how to use. So let's go to the computer. So you're gonna head over to your computer and you're gonna go to stitchfiddle.com. I already have an account with them. That's why you're seeing some of the graphs that I've been making recently. We're gonna click create new chart and you're gonna choose your craft. So they have the different fiber art methods here: quilt, knitting, cross stitch, other. But for this video, we're gonna be using crochet. You can do a number of different types of graphs. See, they even have graphs for Tunisian crochet, but for today's video we're going to be doing crochet with colors and no preference on the yarn. And here you're going to be asked how to start. You can either start with an empty chart from a picture or create QR code. I have never used that. So yeah, maybe one day I'll use it and come back and let y'all know what it is, but right now I have no idea what that is. From picture, that's going to be discussed in another video. I will be showing you guys how to create a chart from a picture, but for today's video we're going to be creating an empty chart. Here is where we choose our grid size. So here is where you enter the amount of rows and the amount of stitches you want to use. So right here where it says columns, that's going to be the amount of stitches. So for today's video, we're going to leave it at 20 stitches and 20 rows. We can go back in once the grid is created and change that if you would like. However, this is what we'll be doing for now. I'm going to click create chart. And here we are, an empty chart. So for today's chart, we're going to be making a heart, and because I want the heart to have a defined middle point, we are actually going to delete one stitch, aka one column. So I'm just going to click that column, and then a bunch of options are going to come up, and I'm going to click delete column. And now we only have 19 columns, aka stitches. So we're going to find the middle column, which will be row 10. And that's where we're going to put our first square for the bottom of our heart. And then from there, we're just going to build it up. Just draw the heart to the best of your ability. What I'm doing is I'm just adding one more box on each side as I go up in rows. And we're just going to keep doing that. Until you have your desired size heart. Oops, messed up. When you mess up, you can always just go and click the white box and change those red boxes to white. But anyways, You keep going until you have your desired size heart. Okay, so after a bunch of clicking and adjusting, I now have what looks like to me the perfect heart. So now that we have our heart completed, I can now go back in and add and take away rows to give more of a background to the heart. So the white boxes represent your background. So if you want more of a background, you can add columns. To add a column, you're just going to left click. Also, when you're done creating your graph, you want to make sure that your graph is being read from right to left, then from left to right. So in order to do so, we're going to click that A up at the top where we make our written instructions, and then we're going to click direction, and here is where you're going to choose the direction for your chart. If you're going to be turning your work after every row, then you're going to want to click alternating starting from right to left. If you're not going to be turning your row, you can just either choose read from the right or read from the left. But for this, since we'll be turning our work, I'm going to choose alternating start from right to left. Just a real quick aside, when you're working with graph patterns, you can use whatever yarn, whatever hook, whatever stitch you desire. Just know that the yarn, the hook, and the stitch you use will change the size of this graph. So if you use double crochet, your square is going to be bigger than if you use single crochet. If you use a size 6mm hook, your graph is going to be bigger than if you use a size 4mm hook. If you use DK yarn, your graph is going to be significantly smaller than if you use worsted yarn. But you can use whatever yarn, hook, and stitch you would like. Okay, so we have our graph here in the background, and now working with your background color, you're going to do a chain of 25. For this example, I'm going to be using half double crochet just because that is my favorite stitch. But once again, you can use whatever stitch you would like. Then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and the 2 stitches we skip is going to count as our first stitch. In the 3rd chain, we're going to half double crochet into it, and then you're going to half double crochet all the way across. Because this first row says what? It says all white. So we're going to do all white stitches. Actually guys, I lied. I'm going to work with single crochet instead, just because I prefer it. And it's quicker, and I'm not trying to have y'all here for hours and hours filming this tutorial. So yeah, I'm going back and I am single crocheting instead of using half double crochet to make this baby move a little quicker. But we are still doing 3 rows of all white stitches. And remember, grid patterns are read from right to left and then from left to right on the next row. So right to left, then left to right, right to left, then left to right. And that really matters when you are using words on your graph pattern, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so we have 3 rows of all white single crochets finished. Now next it calls for 11 white stitches, 1 red stitch, and then another 11 white stitches. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do 11 stitches with white, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so you can use whatever method you would like to change your color. You can also either carry the color across or just you know, leave it in the back. Whatever method works for you. If you need a more in-depth tutorial on how to change colors with crocheting, I will put my changing colors video in the cards above, and I'll also put some videos in the description for recommendations, just because I think that you don't only want to follow one method, you want to look at a varying amount of methods and figure out what works for you. So I will put a number of videos in the description that show you how to change your color and how to carry the color across. But for now, we're going to work our 1 red stitch, which is our pink for now. And because we're only working 1 stitch, we're going to change colors back halfway through that stitch, and that's what that looks like. And then we're going to work the rest in white. Also, for this tutorial, I will not be tucking the yarn. I didn't specify that before, but I won't be tucking it. I'll just be carrying it across the back. But anyways, let's continue. And that row is done. So we have 11 white, 1 red, then another 11 white. Our next row calls for 10 white stitches, 3 colored stitches, then another 10 white stitches. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and then work those 10 white stitches. Then we're going to change our color. And then work those 3 colored stitches. And remember guys, this is the back of my work, so you will be seeing the yarn being carried across the back here. And then work the rest of those white stitches. And this is what rows 1 through 5 look like so far. You're just gonna keep going, following the grid. Remember, each box is a stitch. So however many white boxes there are, that's how many white stitches you'll need. And however many red boxes there are, that's how many red stitches you'll need. I think that you guys pretty much get the gist of this, so I'm going to finish my little graph off camera, but I will include this graph in the description below, so you'll be able to download this graph for yourself and use it to practice if you would like. And I would also include the written instructions just in case those help you a little bit more. But let's all complete our graph and come back and talk a little bit more about grid patterns. Okay guys, so here we have our finished square, and it looks almost exactly like the chart. Actually, it is exactly like the chart, which is awesome. This is what the back looks like because this is where I carried my yarn. And yeah, that is it for the graph. If you guys are really new to using grid patterns, I would encourage you to go ahead and try to create this graph a couple of different times using different stitches. This one used single crochet, as you can tell by how tight the stitches are, but I would encourage you to use half double crochet or double crochet and to see how big or small your graph gets so you can get an idea of what it looks like when you use different stitches with the graph. If you are looking for a challenge, I have a couple of different graph patterns on my website. I'll post some pictures of some of the ones that I have right here, just in case you guys don't feel like clicking the link right now. Hopefully these pictures entice you to click the link and check these out. But if you want to try something that may challenge you or just something different, you can try one of my graph patterns or you can create your own. Remember that graph/grid patterns can be used on cardigans, pillows, blankets, with any stitch, any yarn, any hook. The possibilities are endless, so enjoy. Also, this graph pattern will be in the description below for free. And I may also be uploading some new graph patterns really soon, so keep an eye out for that. If you want to stay up to date with when I drop new patterns, feel free to subscribe to the website and you'll get an email every time a new pattern is released. Please let me know in the comments below if you found this video helpful. Let me know what stitch you used with this graph. What hook size did you use with this graph? What kind of yarn did you use with this graph? Did you explore a little bit or did you do the same thing I did? If you did, that's completely fine as well. And if you have any questions, leave your questions in the comments and I will do my best to answer all of them. Well, clearly my quiet time is over due to the noise in the background. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you guys next time. Bye.